Hello everybody, this is Josh, and welcome to my very first Civilization 5 Let's Play. I had originally wanted to do domination game for my first Let's Play with the Inca, but the fall patch made some changes that's made early domination a little on the dicey side, and so I'm still trying to work out the bugs and kind of actually hoping for a hot fix or two that might make things a little better, because otherwise they're just sort of turning into science games where you just dominate late. So I did have a suggestion to do a game of the month, and so this is the first game of the month to come up. And I had real misgivings, honestly, about doing this particular one. This is the Game of the Month number 71 from the Civilization Fanatics Forums. It's a Prince level game, and I honestly can't remember the last time I played on Prince. I play exclusively on Immortal, where I win basically 100% of the time, except in one city challenges where I do occasionally lose those. Yeah, which I know means I should play on Deity, but I find Deity just incredibly irritating to play on, so I don't. But it is Venice, and the victory condition for this is diplomatic victory, and DV is the easiest victory condition to reach. Venice is by far the easiest civ to reach diplomatic victory with Greece being a very close second for that, actually. So this is a game that should be incredibly easy to win. Now, I should also confess right here off the front that I've made a few practice videos just doing various different things, and one of the things I've discovered is I really sort of suck at playing and talking at the same time. So this is a game that we should be able to win in, I don't know, 270 turns or something like that, but this is probably going to turn into a 300-turn game just because I'm going to be playing a lot of suboptimal play. I do think it's going to be valuable, though. I should also mention that barbs are turned off on this map, so and it's a mystery map. We don't. Well, apparently it is an archipelago, which that is a bug that it would be really nice if they fixed. We'll pretend we didn't actually see that. I hope. Anyways, I decided that this will be valuable. There's a lot of players out there that are having real trouble stepping up from Prince or from King difficulty and getting at least up into, Emperor, if not Immortal difficulty level. And there's also people that play on Immortal that lose pretty consistently on Immortal. And this is it's all about managing a city and managing an empire. So this should actually be pretty valuable. I'm not going to pretend to be the person that knows every little thing. There's going to you'll see I'll be like confused about certain things here and there, and I might even say things that are incorrect here and there. But I do a lot of experience playing the game, but I am not the greatest player by any stretch of the imagination. This great merchant, you can use it to puppet a city-state, and then you can buy things in the city-state, so that's his sort of unique ability. And he also gets double gold when he sends the Merchant of Venice in on a trade mission, so you get twice as much gold. So what that means is in the information era, if you send your Merchant of Venice into a city-state and on a trade mission, you get 4,000 gold for it. And you get 60 influence. So, and that's basically how you win with Venice. You just puppet anywhere from 1 to 3 city-states. You get yourself into the information era while saving up a whole pile of merchants. You send them all into a city-state and just one, and just pop them all off, and you'll end up with anywhere between 30 and 70,000 gold, just sort of depending on how many merchants you made, and then you just buy them all up and they're yours and you win the game. It's really just that simple. The Great Galleus is pretty nice. It doesn't go into deep water, which kind of sucks, but other than that, it's fine. So onward with the game. I was going to hazard a guess from the beginning that this was going to be some sort of island or water type map anyways, so the fact that we already know that this is an archipelago isn't really going to change my opening strategy that much anyways. So the first thing we need to consider is city placement. Where do you want to put your city? I can say right away that where the settler is standing is the worst possible place you could settle. Even on Deity, you can settle on turn 4 and still win the game easily enough. So you should never hesitate to wander your settler around, at least for one turn, because it's very seldom that the AI is going to put your settler in the ideal starting location. At the very least, if there's a hill available, you want to start on the hill. So we can just even look at this hill right here and know that this is a better starting location. The only problem with this starting location, with this whole location in general, is that we're pretty food poor here. Pearls are shit for food. I'm sorry, crap for food. Fish are good for food after you build a workboat and after you build a lighthouse. So if you compare that to a river, say this was river grassland, you're going to get 2 food right away. You put a farm on it with a worker that you only have to make once and can make a gazillion farms, and you get 3 food. You just research through civil service, which you're going to do anyways, and now you've got 4 food. So there's no comparison in terms of gameplay, in terms of food, in terms of quality of start between a river start with grassland that's inland compared to a water start with fish. They're just inferior, because now we got to go up to optics, which we don't really want to do because we want to get education, and we got to build a workboat that only works one time rather than every time, and it's just okay. I'll stop that. But anyways, this is a better location. It's just its problem here is we have to defend both sides, and yeah, we do get this wheat here that's nice. We will get that fish. We'll get these crappy things here. So you should always just take your warrior and just kind of move them around a little bit and see if there's anything better. And so just by moving here, we can see 1, 2, 3 fish that will end up in our 3 ring. 1, 2, 3 pearls that will end up in our 3 ring. And yeah, they're sort of a little ways away, and when we first move up here, we're not going to have any good food. But we should grow either down into this wheat pretty rapidly or up into this fish pretty rapidly. So this is, even up here, is definitely a better location than here. Now, there might be a good spot over here, too. It's sort of hard to say. So we should go ahead and move the settler there first. And then we'll move the warrior over a step and see if settling to the right might be better, or to the left even, because there might be something nice down here. But my inclination is to move somewhere closer to this fish here. So yeah, if we start here, then we get well, just where we are right now, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fish. So that's definitely better. So the real question is, do we just want to go ahead and settle now, or do we want to move over here? In terms of workable tiles, it's really 6 one way, half a dozen the other. We could, I suppose, move to here. We'd get fewer fish, so these 2 tiles here are definitely the ones. And since we're not going to be getting masonry super early, at least probably not, and we'll certainly grow into this marble before we get masonry. There's no reason to waste the extra turn, and we do get this extra little tile here a little earlier than we would otherwise. This is a really crappy start. I mean, I just have to say that. Yeah, all these fish are really nice, but this is a pretty crappy start. Good starts have rivers and hills and ideally grassland. So. Okay, so city management. If you want to be able to get your city to actually function well throughout the game, what you want to do is open your city up, select production focus, and then pick your best food tile, which right now is not a very good food tile. You can see it's going to take us 15 turns to grow, but we will grow out into either this fish, maybe the pearl, which would kind of suck, or down into this wheat here pretty soon. And you can see it's already favoring growing towards the marble, which is unfortunate because the marble's not going to give us much of anything that we really want. I mean, it's just, whatever. So, in terms of build order, the opening build order, pre-patch, I always built 2 scouts on anything that looked like a Pangaea. And what I've been finding now is that getting the monument out a little earlier seems to be really good, even with a tradition opener. So I've been going scout, monument, scout. I was originally just going to guess that this was going to be some kind of island type map where we could get away with a single scout, so whatever. But since it's an archipelago, you can, honestly with an archipelago, a lot of times you can get away with just your warrior. But we can scout with the scout on the ocean, so it'll save us from having to buy or build because there's no place that a scout can go more places than a trireme can. A trireme travels faster, but a trireme can't get runes. So scouting with a scout's a little better in the water, even if it's slower. I find it preferable. So we are going to start with pottery. We want a shrine for this start here. I think God of the Sea is definitely a worthwhile thing to want to get. And we want to get out here and meet whoever's around, and there should be, usually on these archipelagos, you can usually spot it, at the very least, a city-state. We shouldn't share, there shouldn't be any AIs on the same little island with us, but I mean, it does happen, not very often, but usually with archipelago, you just get a little piece of land that's just big enough for you. And, whoop, okay, yeah. All right, well, this apparently explains why this is a game of the month. I was sort of curious as to why we were getting this as a game of the month. It just seems too easy to win, and so. Okay, yeah. So Shaq is a beast. He's I'm assuming on this difficulty level he's not going to be near as bad, but boy, you get this guy on deity or immortal, and he's just a monster, just an absolute monster, and you got to put him down really early. And like I said, I honestly can't remember the last time I played on this difficulty level. I have no clue how fast or how well he's going to be able to develop. And it's very possible he's not going to be able to develop fast or well at all. So we sort of have two alternatives with him. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, now that we've finished pottery, one thing I do know, because I do occasionally sandbag on King, is that the AI techs really poorly, and now in the new beta patch they are teching a lot better than they used to, but when you play on Immortal or Deity, getting Animal Husbandry really early or getting Sailing really early so you can get a trade right out and into the AI is more important than getting Writing and getting a library up, and that's because you get science. You get more science from the trade route than you will from the library. So typically I usually will take Animal Husbandry, get a trade route up really early, and then work my way back to the library. And I find that I actually get out the philosophy faster that way. On lower difficulty level, you get almost nothing from the AI in terms of science. And we can't even see what the available trade routes would be. Yeah, you can see right away we'd be getting 1 science per turn. And we're going to get that from a library right now, or in 5 turns once this guy grows. Jumping into Animal Husbandry really quickly for the trade route's not going to be worthwhile, and we're going to be declaring war on this guy because he will produce a worker, and why make a worker when he'll make a worker for us? And we'll decide whether I'll sort of judge as we go as to whether or not we're going to just put him down really hard early, or whether we're going to just farm him for workers for a little bit. So because I honestly have no idea how fast he's going to be able to advance. So we're just going to go straight for Writing. Well, look at that. Wow, that totally sucks. Okay, so we're just going to hover his border here with the scout and the warrior there. Okay, we do definitely want a shrine, because we do definitely want to make sure we get God of the Sea. On this and I'm going to build the shrine first, because on higher difficulty level, it's very easy to not get a religion. to even not get a pantheon if you hesitate on that shrine. On Immortal, at least, you have to pretty much go scout, shrine, and you'll get religion, or you get a pantheon 90% of the time. On deity, that's often enough, not even fast enough. On deity, a lot of times you have to go scout, shrine, scout, or whatever, if you want to get your pantheon. They just get it a lot faster on deity. So, and hey, ancient runes are good. Okay, so we grew, and so since we grew, yeah, it's already working the best we tile. But so in 5 turns, it's going to reach out and grab this tile, and we'll just have to make sure we remember to come back. Because see, we've already stagnated here. But getting this monument up early will definitely help us quite a bit in terms of our border growth. Which is another thing I've discovered in the fall patch, is that because they've nerfed the pledge to protect, you no longer get free friends with all the city-states. And yeah, just like that. Get the extra food, yeah. So we're going to be growing, and see now we're 4 turns of border growth. See that early monument really, it's going to give us a lot of border growth really quickly. And then, and this is the reason I build the monument, is because now when I get this guy, oops, yeah, okay, did I get the monument done? I did. Okay, good. Whew. I thought I had messed that up because I was talking rather than playing. We will get a free amphitheater now. And yeah, this ties back to what I was just trying to, actually, the point that I was just trying to make, which is before the patch, all you had to do was take patronage and open consulates, and then just pledge to protect every city-state, and you just got to be friends with every city-state in the game for free, just for that. And so you would get just this tons and tons and tons of culture, just from being friends with the city-states. And, you know, it would spill over, and you would just get, you know, huge benefits from it. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted. So you have to wait 5 turns to get the fish. And I think we're going to wait the 5 turns, actually. We'll wait the 5 turns. So now we don't get just the huge amount of culture from the city-states, and so getting through the policy tree is a lot harder, and there's still a lot of policies that we want to have. And so I find that getting the early monument is beneficial, and making a lot more effort to get through the cultures is also a really good thing to do. So we're going to go ahead and finish this granary, because that'll turn this into a 3 food tile. Which will definitely help us. Then I'm going to go ahead and head for sailing next, which is a little off path, but I think I am actually going to go for the the Great Library. No, you can't have embassy. And if you've ever read any of my comments, on the forums, or the comments of pretty much anybody that plays on high difficulty level, they all say exactly the same thing. Don't build the Great Library. That it's pretty much a barrier to better play. And it absolutely totally is. Yeah, see, now we're taking a gold per turn loss. But we're going to grow in 3 turns compared to growing in 4 turns. And then when we grow, we may go ahead. I'm not sure how many pop I'm going to let us get up to before we start working this hammer tile. So we're at 31 turns for the Great Library right now, which we find. And we do want God of the Sea. Yeah, we want that for sure. Not that we need more hammers. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build the Great Library. Normally, while I would be building the, and I'm going to Yeah, I'm going to take this and then that, because if I remember correctly, after I take this, I'll have 18 turns to the next policy. Yeah, 18 turns. So I may go ahead and take this next, or I may take that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But the Great Library does definitely interfere with being able to move to higher difficulty level. It's just not gettable on Deity ever. Wow, that's a settler that he just popped out there. Awesome. So he's apparently down in Liberty. So we're just going to declare war on the fool, and we're going to take his settler away from him. It's ours now. Okay, so this is not bad. We're 6 turns from growth, and we're working the hammer tile. This puts us 5 turns from growth. 21 turns versus 24 turns. I think we'll do this so that we get the extra gold. I'm guessing we're probably going to have to build a military here at some point. And it doesn't look like he has a unit there, does he? Poke our head that way. We'll just send this guy around home. I totally forget what I was saying. Wow, look at that. It's unbelievable. Okay, so presumably he's going to come back out this same exact direction. And since he can see our guy here, he's probably going to want to avoid it. So if he'll go from there to here. And if we move to here, we're not visible to his city border. So Shaka thinks this is a safe square to move his settler to. Yeah, see? And I think we can take another shot from the city and be safe. We're not getting much scouting done here, are we? Okay, so we poked our head down there. We tried to. Yeah, we'll just keep working our way around there. Looks like we grew again. And the Great Library in 14, growth in 9, growth in 6, Great Library in 18. I think we will go ahead and get this Great Library done a little bit sooner, and that'll give us just enough time to get calendar done before we move on. Yeah, there we go. And we'll get a nice early national college. And the reason I'm doing this is because we're not going to get anything of value from the AI, either from research agreements or anything else that typically we would be able to get, decent research agreements out of the AI that would, actually, be beneficial for us. And that's once again one of the changes that's been made in the patch is that the way research agreements work, you no longer get the before it was whoever had the tech lead got the most benefit from the research agreement. And now it's whoever's got the least amount of tech is the one who gets, everybody gets that amount of research. I'm going to bring this guy around. Seems like he wants to send his junk this way, so I'm going to work that guy over here before because I want to make sure we don't miss. There's a starting warrior. Kind of wondering where it was. I'm assuming he's going to try to send another unit out here. So we can slide by his warrior and not get killed there. Hopefully we can. Alright, so we're up to 4 citizens. We're working. Okay, so 2 citizens until we're born. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. We're totally fine. I'm going to keep moving around this way. Looks like we managed to get by him there, which is good. He's just going to sit here and pound on us a little bit as we get past the city, isn't he? Nothing down there. It's feeling like 2 workers is 2 workers too many. Okay, so 13 turns. Yeah, and then once this is up, we may go ahead and switch back to whatchamacallit. Also, drum and poetry early is also something that's become a little more relevant. Being able to get these guilds up, I've found is pretty good. But we are going to go past archery first, I think, is what we will do there. And there's a worker. Let's come down here and see if we can actually nab that worker. Not that we need it. Probably sent the worker up there. Yeah. I'm betting that he did. Well, okay, so let's go here and heal. Presumably he'll bring that thing around again. Okay, so we do have some wonders we want to buy. We're getting a tad bit low on happiness. But I don't think we can afford to go to aristocracy quite yet. So I think we're going to do this so we can get a little more gold going and some more happiness going. I think we'll probably be pretty good on there. I just realized I forgot to set my timer. Oh, he snuck a settler out. Good for Shaka. Good for him. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. So, well, so much for taking him out entirely really early. Looks like that's not going to be an option. We might just go ahead and make peace with this guy. Sneak our warrior back here. While we're still at war. Make peace with him, and then send a trade route in. Alright, so we are going to take philosophy as our free tech.
He who knows
and then we will build the National College. Though Stonehenge is awful tempting. I don't know that I want to bother with religion, quite honestly. Alright, so on high difficulty, the Oracle goes on turn 85. And so you need to start the Oracle before you do the National College. And this typically times out fairly decently, even with a 3-city tradition start, that you're going to be, you'll have 2 or 3 cities that you've settled, and you're building libraries in them. And so while the libraries are building, you just go ahead and start on the Oracle. And you can see right here, we'd have the Oracle done on turn 78, which would be totally fine. I mean, that would just be, totally consistent. And the Oracle is a really important wonder to get. It's one that we very, very, very much want to have. But the other thing, because this is virtually a one-city challenge, the other wonder that we really want to have is the Hanging Gardens. Since this is Venice, we want to get the market up really quickly, so we can get a guy in the market. So, and we're headed to civil service, so sort of no matter what, because it's on the path to education. So we're going to naturally be heading down here into currency. So getting here in the mathematics to get the Hanging Gardens. The Hanging Gardens is arguably, especially with our start, is arguably more important than the Oracle. And we're going to be there in what, 3, 7, 16 turns before we can start the Hanging Gardens. And the National College is going to take 17 turns to complete. This will actually probably, when we grow, be closer to 15 turns or something like that. And I'm going to guess that the Oracle's going to go pretty late on Prince, and we're sort of way ahead of schedule. So I think what we're going to do is National College, Hanging Gardens, and this again. Now, the reason we want the Hanging Gardens is that the garden itself is arguably the most powerful building in the game. It gives you this huge boost to great person generation, and making a lot of great people is really, really important. But in order to build a garden, you need to be next to fresh water. You need to be next to an oasis. You need to be next to a river. You need to be next to fresh water, and we don't have any fresh water. So the only way to get a garden for us is to build the Hanging Gardens, because it gives us a free garden. So we're going to head for mathematics. and we're going to build the National College. So just keep in mind that when you're moving up to a higher difficulty level, this is the opposite order. The Hanging Gardens would be very, very difficult to get no matter what. I've seen it go as early as turn 45. So you almost really have to just ignore writing altogether and just go straight for it. And obviously we're not going to hit that benchmark of education by turn 105, which is fine, because we want our capital to be really huge. We'll be fine. We will be totally fine. Bring this guy around, and you're looking a little extra, aren't you? I'm still tempted to just delete him. Oh, I guess we can actually go. We got optics, didn't we? No, we've not taken optics yet. I went sailing with the fantasy of squeezing out a workboat, but apparently we're not going to be squeezing out a workboat. I guess we'll just put him to sleep. I mean, until we get mining, he has no use.
Thou shalt.
There's our animal husbandry. And then just click next turn. Over and over again. And he saw his worker. And let's see if he runs his worker away. He's got his zone of control, so he can't go very far. Yeah, looks like we might get that worker too. Oh, you got an archer out too. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to put him down really hard. Oh, now he's got his warrior down here. And I guess we'll go ahead, and we're all flat terrain, so we'll just take flat terrain. And yeah, I haven't made up my mind yet whether I want to give him peace or not, so we'll consider it. I mean, once we actually get to the point where we're putting out cargo ships, we can sort of make up our mind at that point as to which one we want to do. Oh, he's got units all over the place here suddenly. Yeah, let's try not to lose any units. Let's see if he actually does the smart thing. Yeah, see, now the smart thing to do would have right there have been. Now, that's got to be a Prince difficulty thing, because I can't, on a higher difficulty level, I can't imagine him not having taken a shot at my guy there. Just seems really hard to believe. And see, this is timing out absolutely perfectly here. I think we're probably working 2 hammer tiles here too, which is fine. I should be working nothing but food tiles, but I really want the hanging gardens. I want them in a really serious sort of a way. Yeah, so yeah, hanging gardens in 23, 11 to a new citizen. If we do this, we're hanging gardens in 23. 7 to a new citizen. Okay, that takes us up to 28, which is too long to wait. Hanging gardens in 23, 7 to a new citizen. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And then now we're going to grab mining. Get these guys mining. It's not looking to me like we need masonry quite yet. We'll probably wait until masonry takes a few fewer turns to grab. So yeah, we might as well. Well, so none of these are actually going to be immediately useful to us. But we do want to get here quicker rather than later. So let's go ahead and take currency so that if we do miss the hanging gardens for some reason, if somebody else does manage to build it ahead of us, we'll have the whatchamacallit we can build. The merchant thing. I think this right here is probably a good place for me to actually pause the game and end the video. I've turned 68 turns. I'm sure I've played for at least an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and break the video. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Save game. And I will come back with part 2 in a little bit.